Evgheni Prigojin made an incredible journey from a Soviet prison cell to leading a private army that marched on the Russian capital.
Пока их не будет, мы находимся здесь, блокируем город Ростов и идем в Москву.
Brutal and ruthless, he grew rich after the collapse of communism and became known as Putin's chef after winning Kremlin catering contracts. But as a fanatic supporter of the war in Ukraine, he clashed with other allies of the Russian president and was ultimately declared a traitor.
Все, кто сознательно встал на путь предательства, кто готовил вооруженный мятеж, встал на путь шантажа и террористических методов, понесут неминуемое наказание.
Born in Leningrad in 1961, he was convicted of armed robbery and trafficking minors when he was 20 years old. He served 9 years in jail before being released in 1990 and then opened a hot dog stand. It was the humble beginning to what would become a business empire called Concord Catering. His prestigious New Island restaurants became a regular haunt for politicians, businessmen and crime bosses. In 2000, Vladimir Putin came with Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihiro Mori. It was the first of many Putin visits with world leaders, and Prigojin's cooks were soon feeding the Russian army and the Kremlin staff.
Типичный предприниматель эпохи Владимира Путина. Он такой же олигарх, как и все остальные на самом деле, потому что его богатство создано на основе связей с государством на госконтрактах. Он вышел изнутри системы.
But he would soon be moving beyond business activities.
I believe the Russians interfered or attempted to interfere with the election, and I think we have to get to the bottom of it.
In 2018, Prigojin was indicted in the United States for alleged interference in the US presidential election 2 years earlier. 5 years earlier, he'd set up the Internet Research Agency, widely known as the Russian Troll Factory. Its fake social media accounts churned out pro-Russian propaganda, attacked Kremlin critics, and spread disinformation around the world. By 2015, when Russia intervened in the conflict in Syria, Prigojin had also set up a private mercenary group called Wagner. Fighters were deployed across Africa, often where Prigojin-linked companies were targeting raw materials, diamonds in the Central African Republic, oil in Syria and gold in Sudan. But there were increasing reports of Wagner units committing atrocities in Africa.
Our witnesses uniformly describe both the foreign soldiers, again, who they said were Russian, as well as the Malian army as engaging in the summary executions of what we believe are up to 300 people.
There were also accusations of atrocities by Wagner units in Ukraine, where they played a prominent role in the battle for Bakhmut. It was at this time that Prigojin began a series of outspoken attacks on Russia's defense minister, Sergei Shoigu, and chief general, Valery Gerasimov.
У нас нехватка боеприпасов 70%! Шойгу! Герасимов! Где боеприпасы? Вот это вот парни ЧВК «Вагнер», которые погибли сегодня. Еще кровь свежая.
The conflict with Shoigu and Gerasimov eventually led Prigojin to his ill-fated rebellion. After seizing control of Rostov-on-Don in southern Russia, he sent an armed column north to Moscow. Russia appeared on the brink of civil war. Yet, within 24 hours, it was all over. It's unclear exactly what happened, but Prigojin agreed to back down and head for exile in Belarus. Over the following weeks, satellite photos appeared of what looked like a Wagner camp in Belarus. Then, around a month after the mutiny, Prigojin popped up at a Russia-Africa summit in St. Petersburg. And on August the 21st, he released his first video since the mutiny.
ЧВК «Вагнер» проводят РПД.
делает Россию еще более великой на всех континентах, а Африку еще более свободной.
The video implied he was in Africa, but this was not confirmed, and speculation about Prigojin's whereabouts and future further intensified. 2 days later, these images emerged, showing a plane plunging from the sky in Russia. The bloody career of Putin's chef appeared to be over.